Hey, Furry, I drew a lot of manga in 2025, so today I'm going to tell you about it. So, the first one I drew was one for the Fantasy Romance 4-page contest for Manga Lab, and this is one that I have called The Prince with the Huge Piece. Not, you couldn't submit with your own title, so that's why I'm giving that disclaimer. But okay, so prompt from the publisher. On her 18th birthday, a young lady, the heroine, arrives at her husband's destination for a mysterious political marriage. The husband she meets for the first time is a handsome, cold looking duke, but the unexpected side he showed me made the heroine flutter. Ooh. Let's pull up what I drew for this one. Yeah. You can see there's the heroine, there's the cold looking duke. Oh my. So what happened? I felt my oppositional defiance streak kick in with this one because what if the unexpected side was that he actually had a huge piece, which is hilarious. And it is a happy ending since the heroine is happy that she finally met someone with a bigger piece than herself. And I know this wasn't the kind of thing they were looking for. Like they were looking for just a more like, traditional Kudere kind of maybe not Kudere, but just that kind of personality shift. We're like, oh, he seems mean, but he's actually really nice and soft on the inside. Um, so when I submitted this, I included a profuse apology in the description about straying from the prompt, but I did feel like I was really cooking because I pushed myself to make the characters' outfits very fancy and over the top. And I don't know, looking back, it's like I guess like it's one of those like yeah, an attempt was made like if you look at this guy's like little pins on his shoulder or or the little buttons that she's got on her jacket. Um yeah, like I definitely think this is a step up, but it's nothing too insane. So it's kind of wonky, but I guess that makes for a stronger start of year versus end of the year. So let's see, on to the next. We have five rejections, and I made that one for the the Paris convention. Shit, I'm so sorry, I forgot which one it was. Um, but it let me look through my notes. Japan Expo. Yeah, that's the one. Okay. So the log line for this one is Yuji promised the five women in his harem that when the world was saved, he would decide who to marry. Now that the world's been saved, he must face reality. He doesn't want to marry any of them. I'm just, yeah, I know, it's corny. Look, it's corny, but I'm having fun. So, what happened? I first storyboarded this in 2022 after listening to the song Speechless by Absurdist on repeat, and I was obsessed with the lyric No suicide is ever gonna hide whoever lives inside your brain. And Five Rejections is openly and aggressively saying that suicide is bullshit and it will not solve your problems. But hopefully, it doesn't get too preachy since it exists in a world of anime jiggle physics. So, letting the five rejection storyboard simmer for so long was great for the final product, and I was inspired to finally draw this in 2025 since I was compelled to enter Japan Expo's manga contest. See, there it is. I should have waited to reveal what I was making it for so I could work that in a little more seamlessly, but all right. So this was a shonen manga storyboard I had lying around. I don't draw a lot of shonen, but I was delusionally confident that I was going to make the first round of this contest and have to go to Paris. Like I was researching the best public transit to take for this convention and okay, spoiler alert that didn't happen. This didn't make the first cut. But when I drew it, I was very convinced that this was my reality, and I really should talk more about my delusions because they are pretty funny. Let's page through a little more of this. Shit. You make sure OBS is capturing it. Oh fuck. I don't know why it's like acting up. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Yeah, you can see all five of them right there. Ooh. Um all right, so anyway, when I came back to draw this in 2025, I felt better equipped to make the character interactions more meaningful. And the biggest change from the storyboard to the final product was Yuji's design. And if you read the storyboard, that one's still up on Poipiku if you're interested. Yuji uses a sword for the final attack to defeat the big bad dragon, like in this scene right here. And I changed it so he has a cool protagonist arm that shoots laser beams instead. And this change was very directly inspired by Sano from Apple Black. He is the good guy protagonist who could shoot laser beams from what they call the arrow disarm, which is the strongest weapon in their universe. And there's a scene in Apple Black Volume 1. I won't get too derailed with Apple Black talk, I promise. Just stick with me here. But there's a scene in Apple Black Volume 1 where Sano clenches his fist and he's looking like a real tough guy and he's overlooking the city, but immediately after he switches back to being this adorable little cinnamon roll. So, teehee, no need to worry about him getting too violent. He's a pacifist, you guys. Just, okay, so we're supposed to assume that Sano's all about forgiveness and he's this big lovable dork until you piss him off. And it just I just hated that characterization because it just feels so antisocial. And um and then like, there's even more questions like when you consider like how he confronts a character who is pretty openly anti-colonization, which is a whole other can of worms. But I feel like but okay, my main point is that if you were walking around with what is essentially a nuke attached to your body, I feel like you would carry yourself a bit differently. Like when Sano clenches his fist, it's like he's pointing a gun at you. And I just don't vibe with that. Like I don't vibe with like, oh, he's such a little dorky little cinnamon roll. Like it's just like no, he's like constantly waving like every time he makes that big fist into the camera, that's that's the same as pointing a gun at your face. And it's just like, oh, I just fucking hate it. So I feel like somebody with this would have unique body language and carry themselves a bit differently and be conscious of the fact that they have a nuke attached to their body. So I did my best to take care with how Yuji, the protagonist of my manga, with the way that he carries himself, in such as like he places his arm away from people when he talks to them. And the one exception being the scene where he speaks to his harem. In that scene, he puts his hand on his heart as a way to foreshadow to the fact that he will kill himself and that he is planning on killing himself, like right here. Um, I did I did have like his body language here, like as he's looking out over the city. This is something that I kind of debated over because if you zoom in, you could see that his hand is facing the girls, but he's like that. I think that that's like the one where I don't where it's kind of wonky. Um, or here where he's surprised, so he puts his hand up. It's like a self defense thing. Anyway, doesn't matter. Everyone's just looking at the tits, hopefully. Um, so okay, what I liked about this one shot. I think the environmental details definitely a step up from the last one. I'm very happy with the character designs. That was something I especially toiled over. Were making sure that everyone in the harem was very distinct. Especially the ant, the bimbo ant. I love the bimbo ant. She's my best girl. So ants are a really cool bug, and I think it's funny that this one is a girl ant. In group shots, I tried to position everyone in such a way so you could tell everyone apart. And I had this rule: make sure the ant is visible. So hopefully I succeeded. I know like for this page, oh fuck, make sure the banner's down. For this page right here, like I was like moving the ant around, like make sure like you could see that she's there, and so you could tell everyone, like if this was totally blacked out, you could hopefully tell everyone apart. Um, okay, now what as for what I would do differently for this one, um, the character art was horrendous. It is not good. It is very flimsy, and I really should have been more careful and attentive towards that. I wanted a wide variety of body types featured in this, but instead it confirmed that my best character art happens when I kind of figure out how to draw 1 to 2 characters and stay in that mindset for the entire production. And look, if that sounds like a bullshit excuse, it is. Okay, I'm not good at drawing. Um, I'll also say that in the middle of making this manga, Clip Studio got an enormous update. In the middle of making this, they updated it so now you can group together 3D objects and draw directly on the models, which would have been a huge help for like mapping out like where his tattoo is. But I didn't want to switch up the models like halfway through, like because like just gathering everyone was an ordeal. And I felt very locked in, kind of stubborn. But eventually, about 2 1 shots later, I learned how to do this 3D tweaking, and my character art improved. So thank you, Clip Studio, for enabling my permabeg crutches. Other than that, there's a scene where Yuji reflects on his suicide, and it only lasts a page. And I really think that this should have been longer, because if this was like a 4 page scene of him dissociating and thinking about his death, it would have made the story much better. So, I want to read you my favorite editor feedback that I got for this. This is what an editor from Comics Rio had to say, and he said, this is translated from Japanese, and he said, the storyline, where the protagonist, having formed an unwanted harem in another world, sacrifices himself to escape it, only for the harem members to follow him, and the core concept of, this time, I'll properly turn them down, felt very strong and promising. On the other hand, the plot felt somewhat meandering, going from formed a harem in another world to decides to flee to an all-male monastery in his next life to prevent another harem, to reunites with his previous life's harem during a quest, to starts a journey to properly reject them this time. Surprising readers by subverting their expectations can certainly add excitement to a manga, but at present, the anxiety of, where is the story even headed, outweighs that surprise. I believe the main story you want to tell with this manga is ultimately about properly rejecting a harem, so the scenario of trying to enter an all-male monastery may not be necessary. If you really want to keep the monastery element, I think it would be better to cut the high school section after reincarnation and have the protagonist already be in the monastery immediately after reincarnating. Currently, there are too many shifts in the setting and perspective, which makes it take a long time to reach the main story. If you narrow down those locations and change and get to the core plot more quickly, the work would improve significantly, and there would also be more room for the story to expand. Please take the above as just one reader's opinion for your reference. At the current stage, I regret to say that aiming for serialization would be somewhat difficult, so we've decided not to move forward. Okay. And they thank me for submitting. Hey, all right. Any quote there, and that was great advice. I didn't realize how much the plot structure was an issue, but I saw what they meant immediately. I've been told many a times that my manga emphasizes crazy plot over characters, and yeah, I guess that's something I still need to overcome. I thought I overcame it because look, the protagonist is dealing with the big S word, but that weakness is still there. So, whoopsie doodle. And side note, if you want a one shot featuring suicidal ideation that takes itself seriously on every page, my 2023 manga one shot, My Boyfriend Died of a Stray Bullet, I've been depressed ever since. That one is going to be what you're looking for. Let me pull that one up real quick. Yeah, I uploaded this one in English and Japanese to Days Neo and did more of a cartoony kind of art style for this one. Yeah. Yeah, this one was pretty cool. Oop. Can't show too much blood though. All right, all right. Yeah. So let's see. But as for 2025 manga, let's see. So next up, we have AI's Evil, which is the one that I submitted to Manga Plus creators. Let's pull that one up. And as for the log line for this one, it's just what secrets are hiding behind AI? So here's what happened. Do you know about Volo from Pokemon Legends Arceus? And I assume that if you have spent enough time on this channel, you know this character's story and you know who this is. But let me break it down. He's a twist villain in the game, and no spoiler warning. I don't know. The game's like 3 years old now, and it's a Pokemon game. I feel like, I feel like Pokemon games of previous generations are fair game for spoiler talk. Like you know if you're gonna play this or not. um, so throughout the story of Pokemon Legends Arceus, he's a friendly NPC who is very kind to the protagonist, but it's actually to serve his greater Keikaku. And some people are shocked by this twist, others sensed it immediately. And whenever someone says something to the extent of, I knew I couldn't trust that rat Volo, I think this is freaking hilarious. So I wanted to up that emotion. I thought it would be very funny to write a villain who's immediately painfully obvious that he's a villain that's manipulating the protagonist. And there is zero doubt that he's evil. And just to make sure you really understand that he's a piece of shit, I drew him with actual devil horns. And okay, the in universe explanation is that he gave himself devil horns so the protagonist would be subconsciously reminded of her favorite plushie when she saw him. Okay, and sorry this isn't a grand, unique thesis statement on AI because, all right, after uncovering that fuck ass AI art card game, I felt burned out on the subject. Because the AI message in this manga is fine if you want to mess around with it, but it's not healthy. And best case scenario, you use AI as training wheels for something greater, and you will not need it someday. And it's the most middle of the road take on AI, so my bad if you feel left out with like the bombastic title AI is evil, all caps, red bold font. um as for explaining the title, I needed to get clicks on Manga Plus creators. Okay, so after 5 rejections did not make the cut for Japan Expo's manga contest, I uploaded it to Manga Plus creators, and it was very quickly removed for content violation. um Personally, I think this is bullshit because that manga isn't explicitly NSFW, but technically it was in violation because the characters are wearing very tight, revealing clothes, and tight clothing is a content violation. Like if you look through the the rules on Manga Plus creators, it is fucking wild. Like technically your characters aren't allowed to hug. Yes, there are manga where characters are hugging, but it's like it's to preemptively prevent anything too spicy from happening. See, like submission guidelines right here. Shit, I think that was like when Manga Plus was owned by Metabang, it had that rule, but now it's owned by Shueisha. Because I'm not seeing the no hugging rule. Hmm. Well, either way, mine was taken down. Mine was taken down. Okay. Anyway, they judge these things on a case by case basis, and whatever moderator could sniff out my heterosexual intent when drawing the ladies surrounding Yuji. So they removed it. And I don't know, I so instead of like being like, yeah, I violated it, oh well, um my mind went to fuck this site, fuck you. I will make something so good that this website has to feature it. And fortunately, I was finishing up this one shot around this time, and I figured I could give it a bombastic title to get people to comment and boost it in the algo. And very important context: if you don't use this website, Manga Plus Creators is littered with the ugliest AI manga you will ever see. It is awful, and it's something that everyone's just like in agreement, like, hey, they need to do something about this, and yet they don't, and it's just very depressing that um this is pretty sure this is the biggest platform for international manga submissions, and the logo's eating it all up. Yeah, and they just don't, and it's just fine. Like they just let it go as is. They have an interesting system in that for the monthly awards, in that like the top 10 are determined by popularity, and then from the 10 judges will decide the winner. Um so that so there's never been an AI work that's gotten a judge's approval, right? The thing is though, there's a lot that have made it to the top 10, which is very discouraging. And then there's also some that very obviously use botted comments and botted upvotes. Where it's all very discouraging. So then it's not even like, oh, doesn't this suck that an AI artist is taking the spot of somebody that actually worked on it? Because every once in a while, I will see somebody who is. I don't want to sound too forgiving of AI art, but every once in a while on this website, you will see somebody who is figuring out how to make a manga who is also using AI. Like there was one the month that I competed for AI is Evil that that was like neck and neck with mine for a little bit, but it was using like it used AI art to depict like it was about racing, and they used AI art for the race cars. I mean, I would say like, you could just do photo manipulation. You don't need AI art for that, but it's like it's things like that where it's just like, okay, this is just someone like learning how to make a manga, and this is like how they're having fun with it. But then there's other people who just like make like the crappiest AI art, and those ones where and then they will buy botted comments, and then it's like, okay, so what the fuck is the content moderation on this? If somebody can easily just buy comments, if they could just pay their way to be in the top 10, and and you're not going to do anything about it, it's like, well, that's very discouraging. Okay, sorry about that tangent, but okay, but that's what inspired me to give it the big stupid title, AI is evil, right? Um and and so thanks to that, thanks to that big stupid clickbait title, and way more importantly, support from my friends who were kind enough to make an account on this fuck ass website and leave a comment, I was able to secure 8th place in the monthly ranking. And so if you haven't heard me say it, I will say it again. Thank you. Thank you so much. It is it's very cool that I was able to have this manga go out to so many people and have so many people read it. I didn't go farther than the first round, but I'm very glad to have finally made it past a first round in a manga contest, even if it was just me like going to every person I know and being like, please make an account. um, so let's see, explaining the 3D models for this. I used Yellow Rat's thin figure with boy. Let's see. Let's open this up. Yeah, this is the one that I used for the protagonist girl, and there is also an opie setting on this model, and that is the one that I used for the bear girl in 5 Rejections. And because of that, I saw the AI is evil protagonist as the daughter of Yuji and the bear girl. So I'm very sorry to Yuji. That's who you end up with. Um, but the model for the male lead was like a muscle guy. Like it was the yeah. This is a screenshot of it. It's like the default Clip Studio model, and somebody drew muscle patterns on it. I don't know why, but this was removed for content violation. I don't know what rule they violated, but the real star of this was the cafe. Let's see. Let me open that one up because this is a very cool model, a model that I really freaking love. Let's see. Yeah, see, yeah, there it is. There's the cafe. Ooh, doesn't that look cool? So this has so many little details to make the setting feel very cozy and lived in. Just as vitally, the artist, I think it's pronounced Tew Irv to Irv. They took great care to make all of the objects could be manipulated. Like there's some 3D models where it's like this, like everything will just be one object. In this one, like, oh, you can move around each coffee cup, each chair, it's very nice. A lot of care went into this. Um, I feel like this manga AI is evil. This has my strongest staging of any manga. And it is easily because the model that I use for the setting in the cafe, because it kicks so much ass. Um, and hopefully I could use like I can use more of their 3D models in more of my manga in the future. Uh, because they fucking rock, dude. The only problem is like they do a lot of fantasy and historical settings. I just don't do a lot of that. Like where the setting in AI is evil. It's modern day, but it's kind of like this otherworldly feeling. Like if anyone's read the manga Holic by Clamp, where it's modern day, but like, oh, there's a spooky little shop that has this kind of otherworldly vibe to it. Like, kind of wanted that vibe to it. where where it's like it's kind of removed from reality. But yeah. So I actually did start this. I kind of started this one shot in 2024. I got distracted by YouTube. I dropped it after I drew 8 pages, and then I started over with this new art style. Um, I tried to maximize a very standard sense of cuteness i- during my first go at this manga, but when I started over, I felt like it would be better for the story's tone and message if everything felt a lot gloomier, if it was a lot darker. Um, Let me pull up that previous edition because this is very deep in the my manga lore iceberg. Yeah, there we go. Like there's the protagonist. Oh wow, there she is. Yeah, you can see I was doing the very standard moe girl art style. Um, I think this panel right here, I think this one looked better in the first version, like with the way that the people are kind of blurred and this light gradient effect over it. I think that one looks a lot better. And I really struggled to make it look cool in the other one, but I think the but like okay, if I'm sacrificing so just this one panel looks nicer, it's like okay, that it's like I could delete that one panel and have it look a little worse if the rest of the manga looks better. Yeah. Oh yeah, and then the cafe in the first one, I just called it the cute cafe. um yeah, and then yeah, then here's the guy about to be a bad guy. Um but so between the time like I forgot when I got the bright idea where it's like I need to add devil horns to him so everyone knows he is super duper evil for realsies. Um but like he's always been inspired by Volo from Legends Arceus. Let's see. But so my favorite let me pull the final version back. Yeah. So that was the version 1.0 and I I just dropped it here. Yeah. Um I remember I submitted this because like Manga Meets they were having a show us the first 8 pages of whatever one shot you're working on and we'll give you feedback. Yeah, so that was what motivated me to post this. I forgot what contest I originally made this for cuz I know it wasn't Manga Plus creators. Um it was just like a good coincidence that like okay, like I was in this like fuck you Manga Plus creators. I'll fucking show you and I and I happen to have this one done. I want to guess it was the high speed contest at Manga Lab, but I'm not too sure about that one. Okay. But anyway, I did get some feedback um on Manga Lab for this. Or no, shit, was it was yeah, it was Manga Lab because it was from Koshi from Lala magazine, which is the Hakusensha property. Um so Koshi from Lala very kindly reviewed my work and they had this to say and the rough translation of this and they said it's a very complex setup but the opening is simplified by focusing on key information, and you're really skilled at smoothly drawing the reader into world building. Oh, thank you, Koshi. The protagonist's loneliness and delicate inner world are packed tightly into the first 4 pages, and I couldn't take my eyes off it. The background is also carefully depicted, so I was able to fully enjoy the immersion into this world. The scene in the second half where Bandit Coon, who has a heart, plays an active role is particularly impressive. If there was an episode with Bandit Coon beforehand, episode scene, sorry, either one works. If there was a scene with Bandit Coon, I should say, beforehand, uh, that scene might stand out even more powerfully. Thank you for submitting this time, which is fantastic advice. And I was like, oh, I was kicking myself after I read that because like, yeah, you are so right. Because if I included another scene with Bandit Coon, um, yeah, this would have definitely been elevated. I I'm really into my plushies, so I felt like it was a given that if somebody totes around their favorite plushie around town, they have a special connection. Let's see. Let's see. As for my next manga, I'm loading my notes up. Let's see. Oh yeah. Next one is a my entry for Hanato Yume's web manga contest, and I used the same characters from AI is Evil. I consider this to be like a fun little AU with them because I was still like thinking about them. I wanted to keep drawing them. But I did use different 3D models for them. And basically I wanted to draw something very sparkly after loading up on a bunch of lace and sparkle brushes. If you're interested in exactly which resources, I I do link everything in the description. But the model for the girl changed from the AI is evil one. So I'm no longer using the one by Yellow Rat. I still really like Yellow Rat's 3D models. They're very skilled at, like, especially if you are making cartoonier models. I've used a lot of their stuff before. I used like their chibi model I used um for my character Ushida when I was making my light novel. I used that one. Let's see. Yeah, let me pull up some primo Yellow Rat. They also do like a lot of furry models. Um like I really like this one. Like this one's got like all the furries. Oh, so cool, so cool. I really like their proportions with the models. I know I relied on this one for a while as like my default protagonist. I really liked I believe it was this one, and I really liked this one. Oh fuck, it might be a different one, but it was a similar one, and I liked it because like you could add glasses to the character. Oh yes, and this is the one I used for Ushida Hime because she is small. I'm getting my member berries just looking at all their models. Oh, they're great. They're great. I love Yellow Rat. Um, but anyway, for this one, for my entry for Hanato Yume, I used a different model for her. No longer using the Yellow Rat model, and made a new one because I figured out how to group 3D characters together. So let's see. So I Frankenstein this together. um God, I forgot. I know it's gonna come up soon, but yeah, I use like model for the head, the different ribbon models, skirt, shoots. Yeah, yeah. I'll just jamming as much jamming as much frills and lace on this character as possible. Oh man. Ooh, let's close some tabs here. All right. So, um I still wasn't happy with this, even though it's like, okay, I think I'm getting a little bit better. I was paying more attention to, like, I was really trying to imitate the eye style that they used in Stellar Witch Lips. I really love that artist, and I love their sense of sparkle and glitter. Oh yeah, there's little Bandit Coon. He's still hanging out. He's still part of the squad. Um, but it still like felt a little wonky, and I was still struggling hardcore like to draw these. So let's see. My next one, yes, was Hoofimitsu. Let's open that one up. Yeah. So here we go. Here we go. So this is Hoofimitsu. Which is the prompt was a 4-page manga contest, and the prompt was write about two people with a secret. Um Based on like the promo art, I assume they wanted gay dating as like the secret, and like they wanted BL. And I was like, excuse you, sweetheart, it's 2025. That shouldn't have to be a secret. So, but also I'm kind of a kind of a smartass. So I was like, what if the secret was the boy had hooves? And I don't know. I think hooves are funny. Anyway, I used I used for this one, I used The Face of Youth, Your God 3D. Yes. Um I've owned most of their faces. I think that they're because faces are hard. So I bought a lot of faces. And I've always really liked their faces, but like I don't know, but I still had that like, oh, why am I still struggling? Oh, um, um, I've used this one in a lot of my Volo art. Like I tried to use their like Bara model for Volo, and something about that just like it didn't feel right. Like you got to cutesify him a bit. Um, and I went into Hoofumitsu with this fuck this, fuck you. I am going to figure out how to draw a face. And I know I recorded my process for like is like back as like visual stimuli for the Scooter Pitch podcast for an episode, and you could see me like messing around with the 3D model and continuously redrawing. But and I see this manga here. Let me pull it up. See, there we go. There's my hoof boys. I see this as the manga where I kind of figured out how to draw a somewhat okay face. I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying it's less busted than it usually is. Like I especially liked like this face right here. I think turned out all right. This one's all right. It's got some good gradients. I don't know, like still a lot of work to do, but at least now it wasn't like it wasn't like just it didn't feel as broken. And so yeah, like I said, this manga is like if I could mark like a definitive before and after, like I started to get more confident in my art and I felt more okay with my art. I feel like this is the one. Um I know I submitted them somewhat out of order in Manga Lab, which is like something that I think only I really care about. Yeah, like this one, and then next was Sadistic X Streamer, but the X is silent. Yeah, that's something I've always wanted. It's make something with X in the title and say the X is silent. Okay. um, let me see. I don't think I got any editor feedback on Hoofimitsu. As you know, it was just like a little 4-page whatever. Um, yeah, I think I got like a sticker, which is like a little boost of encouragement. Okay. Um, it's so after I made this, I was like, I had that confidence of like, okay, my faces aren't totally ugly anymore. I need to keep pushing. I must get cuter. And let's see. So so next I made Sadistic X Streamer. And let's pull that one up. This one I submitted bilingually, so English versions in chapter 2. Yeah, that's something I want to work on is just try to submit everything bilingually. um I don't know, is it going to be distracting to have English on screen while I'm talking in English? Talk. um but okay, if this was made so Sadistic Extremer, this was made for a specific contest or publisher. I forgot which one. I think I just made it for the sake of making it. Um uh but I remember going into this with all of this confidence that I unlocked like how to draw a somewhat decent face, and I needed to up it. I needed to make my characters even more attractive. um let's see. So I let's see. Let's tab through before I read I did get editor feedback for this. Very grateful for that. And I did submit this to Comic Boost. I believe they're a web only publisher, but I did send this their way. And let's see. So let me read you their comments that they sent. And And they said, we have carefully read your submitted work, Sadistic Extremer. Regardless of gender, the detailed rendering of the character's eyes is extremely meticulous. We could feel your effort and dedication. Oh, thank you so much. However, the abruptness of the character's actions stood out, giving the impression that their intention were not fully expressed effectively. We believe that if you consciously and carefully depict what each character is thinking and why they take certain actions, the work, which already has the charm of delicate expression, will become even more refined. When it comes to sexual scenes, the lines of the body, the visual impression, and the lead up to revealing skin are all important elements. Rather than simply undressing, pay attention to these aspects would be beneficial, we thought. We may be mistaken, and if so, we deeply apologize, but we had the impression that you are an overseas creator whose native language is not Japanese. We honestly think it is amazing that you have been able to express yourself to this level despite the language barrier. We hope you continue to create wonderful works and pray for your future success. Thank you very much for submitting your work to us this time. And ended the quote there. And yeah, that's a very fair point. Um Honestly, I was not thinking of the pacing or buildup. I just wanted to show off attractive characters. But yeah, that is a good point. Um, this is also one of the few times that I've ever been complimented on character art by an editor. So look, even if this didn't result in an editor assignment, it felt like progress to have them give that little nod of approval. And I do also greatly appreciate their kindness in acknowledging that I'm a foreigner. Side note, this is standard for a lot of manga submission, but they do ask for your IRL name in addition to your pen name. Um, and they ask for IRL name and I think my phone number, so I'm pretty sure that's that's what outed me as a gaijin. Um, so a little bit later after this, I saw that Sadistic Extremer was the perfect page count to submit to Viz Originals. So I drafted a hypothetical one volume plot outline for this concept. I made character reference art and I didn't get a reply, but it was fun to think this through. Um, I try to keep my one shots self contained, and I think Five Rejections is one of my most open ended because, it kind of ends with, like, all right, and we're off on this great adventure, and, I'm not going to make more. um, but it, I'm definitely having those vague daydreams of, like, ooh, but, like, what if it continued? Like that's kind of like in the back of my mind when I draw manga one shots. Let's see. So after this, so I was still in that, like, I must I must continue with the cuteness. I must continue. So let's see. All right, so this is on my Poipiku. It is the manga that I made for Halsey. Chance Encounters was the prompt. So let's open the Japanese version. Um, I don't know. Like, does anyone else, like, get distracted if there's, like, English text while someone's speaking in English? um, yeah. So I did, like, a similar character design for this girl that I did with the last girl that I drew. Um, let's see. So Palsy, for their first contest held on Pixiv, asked for stories about fateful encounters, and coincidences can be incredibly anticlimactic. So I went through a few rewrites to make sure the emotional core of this story was solid. And so the mangaka Nizuma, they had a guest spot on Manga Lab and leaving comments, and I was very fortunate to get feedback from Nizuma. And let me read you what Nizuma had to say. And so they said, I was reading along from the beginning, wondering what kind of story it would turn into, but the ending took that kind of turn. I was surprised. If I had to give one critical comment, since transgender issues are the theme, I personally felt that it might have been better to emphasize that theme a little more and make it easier for the reader to understand through the text. The background of the ruins is depicted very impressively. Thank you. So simplifying the characters or structure a bit more might give it a different kind of impact. And these are all great points. So I feel like using a character's gender transition for a dramatic reveal, that can be a little crass. So my my intent, and hopefully you will sense my good intent, even if this isn't perfect. I aim to subvert that by having the shock come from the transgender character amazed that his friend grew up to be this punk rock chick with a bunch of tattoos. But if you feel like, hey, you could have emphasized the trans element more, I think that's completely fair. I just, I guess, I do have that hesitation of like, how much should I write about a marginalized group that is not me? And so one of the biggest elements changed from the storyboard was I made it so the protagonist is relying heavily on her best friend. So it's not just like, oh, doesn't it suck that my bestie's moving away? It's like, oh, her home life sucks. This character right here, the girl with the short hair, um, and so her freaking out over the friend leaving. So it kind of means a little more, and I added this, like if you compare um with the storyboard, I added like this was like them like winning the Labubu. Like I added that. Like, I think I had like a day left left before I submitted. Oh my god, yeah. And so I added like this scene here with her like learning to sew and all that. Um, cause yeah, it went from like, oh man, we used to hang out here all the time, and then these scenes were added, and then a montage of them hanging out, and I'm like, no, and I was thinking back to the comment that I got on AI is Evil of like, no, you should have shown a scene with Bandit Coon, um, so that way there's more of an emotional impact. And so I was thinking back like, okay, I need more to establish that these two characters are friends. So that was my hope. I'll also say one other detail that like I don't know if anyone picked up on this, but like this character right here who my intent is to make them transgender. You could see that before he transitions, he has his bangs hiding half of his face, right? And so we see him as an adult. This might be kind of hard to tell. I don't know if I like rendered it correctly. Like, okay, you can see it a little better here. But he has two different colored eyes. So I wanted to subtly express that like, okay, he's more open with himself, he's more comfortable with himself, and so instead of like hiding this thing that makes him a bit different, he's more okay with it and he's more comfortable with himself. Yeah, if you have more if you have more advice for how I can better write trans characters, I would love to hear it. I do want to write about a lot of different kinds of people and not just not make all my characters so white bread. Let's see. Let's see. Moving on, I have the Comic Trail 4-page audition. And this is exactly what it sounds like. Let's go here. So this is exactly what it sounds like. The publisher Comic Trail gave different short scripts for short manga and asked artists to adapt it in 4 to 6 pages. Um, at a certain point, I was getting a little bit bored of like this super glittery doe-eyed girl that I was drawing. So like we see it's like so like this is their horror prompt. I don't know why, but I drew this tree. I don't know why I drew this freaking branch on a tree. Oh my god, is this recording? Ah, fuck. Okay. All right, you can see my terrible fucking tree. Yeah, I don't know why the hell I drew this. Why the hell I didn't just do like a tree brush, but I did. I don't know. I'm like I need to draw this specific tree right here. I don't know. I just like there's a lot of weird things that I waste my time on when it comes to manga. um but okay, so this was like their horror prompt. Yeah, and yeah, look, he's got spooky eyes. Let's see. Yeah, there was a horror prompt. I submitted it in like a certain. Oh yeah, I remember. I also yeah, here's their etchy prompt. And I had to explain to my friends what a mamushi drink is. It's basically like a Red Bull, but it gives you a boner. Let's see. No, sorry. Sorry to be so crude. I mean, it helps with your vitality. um, uh, yeah, like, yeah, it was like after this one, I'm like, Yeah, it sure is nice drawing this chick with the huge cans and big glittery eyes. Like I was like, all right, I'm done. I'm done. I need to draw something different. It was like making me fucking nuts drawing this exact face every time. Um, yeah, I think this turned out all right. Let's see. So I switched it up to a more like cartoon style for one of the prompts. It was it was for their rom com prompt, and let's yeah, really yeah, I like these character designs. I'm working on a new one shot called Remedial Magical Girl that uses similar character designs. I didn't give them big old yowie hands, but it's like a similar kind of eyes. Um, Trying to make it look like a Precure, like the Precure manga adaptations. If anyone's taking a peek at any of those, because it's like I felt like I felt in my like just like in my soul. I'm like cannot draw this fucking face again. Oh gosh. Let's see. Let me look through my notes. Let's see. And yeah, and then for the last one, it's I'm so unpopular I almost kissed my clone. That is the last one that I drew for 2025. Let's see here. Yeah. Yeah, and this is another one that I submitted bilingually. Um let's see. Not much to say about this one. I yeah, I I was really fucking done with 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 drawing girls. Like I originally intended this one to have a female protagonist, um, and have it be a Yuri, but I don't know, like I just physically could not draw girls anymore. So I was like, okay, I'll just make it a dude. Hopefully the plot still works. Um, but yeah, I wrote when I was making notes for this, I said like I don't get it. It's like I lost the correct mindset while I was lucid dreaming. So I changed it to a dude, and I was somehow able to finish it. As for my 2026 manga plans, I'm paying very close attention to Kodansha's Manga Academy. I'm very excited for what they will do. Let me pull that up. So Kodansha wants to extend their international support, and so they've already done a lot of um interesting things internationally. Like in New York, they opened up the manga house, and they were open to manga reviews over the summer. Um I, I know they're going to do some contests. Right now they're doing a four coma contest, and they're teasing the next one. Yeah, I've got a few entries for the four coma. There's a lot of really strong entries. I'm not gonna make it, but I do want to try it out. Um, I think that these steps that they're taking means a lot, especially since if I could tab back over to Manga Plus Creators, I feel like Manga Plus Creators, it's let a lot of people down. So it is cool seeing seeing them step up like this. I'll still be paying attention to Manga Lab. Manga Lab did put out what here let me tab off of this. Uh they did put like their upcoming contest that they're going to make in 2026, so you could start brainstorming for those. Um and I I I I've had a one shot idea that I've been sitting on for when they reopen, like if they I should say if they open up their adult dark romance contest. That is one that I pay very close attention to. It's like I think it's evened out to about every other year they do this, where where they it's for a digital magazine. The name of the digital magazine translates to Dark Honey, I believe. Um, and if and first of all, like, because I do just enjoy making um female orientated works, and I, I I I do want to explore darker subjects. A lot of what I say, like, I do like paying attention to Manga Lab specifically because when I look at the kind of art that they greenlight, like the look, like you could look through works that have an editor assigned, you could look through the things that have won contests. It's like, okay, this is all the kind of art that I want to make, and the kind of art I want to consume. Um, so I I am still paying attention to Manga Lab, although I was just gassing up Kodansha's international efforts. I think that for the international ones, this one's i- it's very much Wild West. Like, I really don't know what to expect of this, um but I'm very excited to see where this goes, and I'm very happy to participate. Like, I should it, it's it's tricky because, like, I do, like, I have this feeling of, like, I'm not gonna win. I'm the worst one here. I do have that feeling. Like, I never expect to win, but at the same time, I this it's so hard to explain because, like, I still daydream about winning even though I know it's not gonna happen, if that makes sense. Um, and so, like, I do wanna see where this goes. I do want to participate in this and see what happens, what comes of this. Um, I think that, just there being an alternative to Manga Plus creators and them being the AI and the AI slot factory, that's enough reason to just be very excited and just be very happy that that it's not that Manga Plus creators isn't going to have a total strangle on international applicants. And I'll also say, um, as long as you can submit in Japanese, you could submit anywhere. Me being a fucking gaijin, that doesn't matter to most places. Um, as long as it's somewhat okay Japanese. Like, even if it's, I know I shouldn't say this, but, like, even if it's like auto translate, like Deep L translate, um, they will say, editors will say, like, oh, we want, like, a shitty translation over, they won't accept things in English, but if you can but if you can submit something with, like, a deep L translation, they'll take a look at it, even if it fucking sucks. Like, it just has to be kind of good enough for them to get the gist of what's happening. um which I know that sounds bad. I've talked a lot about about my process before. When I have money, I hire translators. I do not have money at the moment, so so deep L it is, unfortunately. But yeah, it is very it's very poly coded of me to just ping pong around all of these different websites. I think that I know Boichi once said that you need to find a manga magazine and you need to study it and understand their vibe and their attitude, and you need to create something that fits their vision and image. And I agree with that. But I'm also a huge slut and I love all manga. So it's very hard to take that advice. Um so we'll see where this goes. Oh, right. And I did get accepted into um Manga Ichiba's first doujinshi market. Yes, I will be making something for that. I will not say what I will be making. I will I don't want to tease too hard, but I do have something planned for that. This which is also why my YouTube activity is slowed down. Right now my plan is finish up my one-shot Remedial Magical Girl, and once that's done, just head down and start working on my manga that I will be selling at Manga Ichiba. Um, I am very excited to go there. and finally meet other people who make manga. It's hopefully hopefully I won't get in too much trouble and get uninvited. Because we all know I could be a little rascal. So hopefully they're okay with my shenanigans. I assume they didn't Google me beforehand because there was a lot of entries. But I'm really excited about that. I will be. I will post more details about that as the day gets closer to that. What is my understanding of the Dojinshi convention, the Manga Ichiba at what's it called, FanimeCon? Oh fuck. Sorry. It's my first time going to that convention. But Manga Ichiba, they will have it's 3 days, and the day is split into day and night, and you will have one slot. So there's 6 slots total. Um, so once I know where, like, what day I get or what time, what table, I'll let everyone know. Um yeah, I'm very excited because the idea that I'm going to make for this, it is one that I've had kicking around for a while. And so I'm very excited about this, also very nervous to see what will be the reception. And as for and I'm really excited for what Manga Ichiba is doing because they will have a very strict no merch policy. Like, you can only sell your manga here, and this is something that we desperately need. Oh gosh. Here, I don't want to pause on other people's art. They might be a little sensitive. So let me pull up my own slap as a visual background noise. Um Maybe I'll pull this up. Yeah, we could look at Kumatan making his manga. Um so I'm also, yeah, and one more note about Kodansha. Probably my favorite editorial meeting that I got was from I had a meeting with someone from Palsy, the Kodansha app for shoujo manga. That was a while ago. But that meeting, it started with them just outright saying, "Hey, we don't have the resources to take on someone who does not live in Japan." But he said, like, "But I still want to talk to you. Making me feel real special." I know. But they were very kind, and they went through all of they went through my manga. They went through page by page what I could do better. They gave me a reading list of manga that I should study, and it was a very impactful meeting. I'm very sorry if this is like your third time hearing this story. But it was one of those deeply touching moments. And so I think that's like another thing that is making me just excited for this. That's also why I entered Palsy's the Palsy on, like, because Palsy opened a contest on Pixiv, and that's why I made the Chance Encounters manga. That one, because when I looked at it, I was like, "Oh fuck, it's Palsy." Oh, like I'm like, "Oh shit, I need to act now. I need to get in on this." And because that one had a in the Palsy contest, like, they specifically said, like, yes, you can apply if you live overseas, but it has to be in Japanese. Was That was in the rules, and I'm like, "Fuck yeah, let's fucking go." And it is very exciting to see how manga is changing, and the different pathways that are opening up. And so, after that just amazing editorial meeting that I had with the Palsy editor, um and now I see that Kodansha is making this more of this active effort. I'm like, fuck yeah, let's fucking go. Like, I know it sounds like I'm really two time because it's like, I love Manga Lab, but I also love Kodansha. Like, I'm sorry. I think the real uniting thread here is I'm just not that into shonen. I think that's the biggest thing. It's just like, please just put me somewhere where I don't have to draw shonen. Anyway, yeah, so Manga Ichiba, I'm very excited about that. I'm very excited to finally meet other people who make manga. I I've had this kind of like complex, I guess, where it's just like, oh, I'm the only one who's drawing my manga. I'm the only one making my real art. I feel like that that was my favorite part about working with Lume Bento, the publisher that published my light novel. Even though I wasn't making manga with them, I it was just very cool how everyone there was so dedicated to their craft, and it was really nice having that just having that community and being a part of that. And I'm still cool with everyone there, but and you know what? If anyone from Lume Bento, if you ever want to collab, if you anything like that, hit me up. You know where to find me. But it's different when you're actively working towards something versus like, oh yeah, we're mutuals. It's all cool. I'll promo your stuff, you promo my stuff. We'll go on each other's podcast. Well, it's a little different when like when you're going into weekly meetings with everyone and there's that stronger sense of community. And I feel like I do miss that. I do miss that as I feel like that was my favorite part of working with Lume Bento. And but that's the other thing is and I do feel like it's been difficult to find like other people that are just like, no, I am all about manga. This is my thing. That it, because look, I just went over a lot of manga that I made, and um, not everyone's got that grind set like I do. I know that sounds very conceited, but I mean it's true. I make a lot of manga, and whereas like when I see people struggling, and I don't want anyone to feel called out. Like, look, we've all got day jobs, we've all got shit going on. When I see people being like, oh, I want to draw manga, but it's just hard, like that mindset, I feel like that like there's more of that, like I am struggling against the world to make my art, whereas like I feel like that's kind of the approach that I see in a lot of mangaka. Whereas like, me, because I'm so special, I, I say half jokingly, but it's just like I feel like just making manga is my default. And 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 when I can't make manga, I feel agitated. I feel in pain if I am not making my manga. Um, and I know I'm not the only one with that mindset. I know I am not special. Just because I have this this great intense pain every time I'm behind a cash register, and I'm not, oh, I wish I could be making my art. Like, just because I feel that, it doesn't mean I'm the only one, but it is hard to find other people with that mindset. And it'll be cool going to Manga Ichiba and just meeting other artists, um and just seeing what they're about, what they're like. I I'm really looking forward to that. I know it's going to be a great time. Uh and as for this channel, if you need a channel update, I I will be sporadically making new videos. I know I was really cooking with my weekly stuff. I know I was so locked in. I'm very sorry that I kind of dropped that. And like I think I did weekly videos for about 2 months, and then I'm like, well, I got accepted to Manga Ichiba. Later, Gators. Like, I know that's so shitty. I'm sorry. I gave you consistency, and then I yoinked it away. But I'll be doing videos. Basically like, whenever the hell I've got like the IQ for it, which is very nebulous. Like, I really don't want to set any expectations because I don't want to let anyone down. You can see here's my channel. Oh, isn't it nice? Um, I did a podcast with Ricky from Planet Fitness. I have right now I have it set so the members first, everything members first. Right now it will start releasing after the convention um because I really want to keep my head down and just work work on this stuff. Um but if the ad revenue gets a little too low, I might release these. I might release these to the public a little sooner. Um but this one's really I had a lot of fun with this where we go over the manga Zephyr. It is not very good. Well, I'll just say that much. Oh yeah, and Woke Dojinshi. Oh yeah, Um this one I reacted to Kofi Comics. He pulled me up on his stream and he had some thoughts about me getting accepted to Manga Ichiba, so in that one I watched through that one and and I give my hot take on Kofi calling me gay. I had a great time with that one. But yeah, so yeah, most content till Manga Ichiba will probably just be React Slop, and then if Ricky's around after my workout, we'll read a few pages of Zephyr and give our thoughts. Yeah, here's to a good 2026. Sorry, I got so off topic there, but yeah, here's to a good 2026. Really looking forward to both what Manga Lab and what Kodansha Manga Academy do. I will I will be applying. I'll be making stuff for both of them. Really playing the field. I will be making my super secret doujinshi for Manga Ichiba, and it will be an original work. I will say that. I will not be making any fan works for Manga Ichiba. That's as big of a hint as, as I'll get. Um, uh, yeah. Thanks so much, every furry. I hope we can all make our manga. I hope I could read all of your manga in 2026. I'll see you all around. Bye bye.